Hello and welcome to watching NDTV. I am Vedant Agarwal. Well, our big focus, the Prime Minister's crucial 3-day visit to the US, and the focus very much was on the community event, the Prime Minister's mega diaspora outreach. Well, it was an hour-long speech. Several key important points. The Prime Minister talked about how India is really becoming a global mediator. Also, how India and the US and their relationship is based on furthering the global good. He said democracy is being celebrated in India and US while the world is embroiled in global conflicts. The Prime Minister also talked about how India has come a long way. It's no longer awaiting opportunities but creating them. He also said that India's diaspora is like Rashtradoot, and they represent India's diversity, and that our Namaste has gone from local to global. He also made an important announcement on new consulates that will be opened up in the US. Take a look at some of the key takeaways from the Prime Minister's speech.
एक दशक में भारत 10वें नंबर से 5वें नंबर की इकोनॉमी बन गया। अब हर भारतीय चाहता है कि भारत जल्दी से 3rd लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बने। आज देश के एक बहुत बड़े वर्ग की बेसिक नीड्स पूरी हो रही है। पिछले 10 साल में करोड़ों लोगों को क्लीन कुकिंग गैस की सुविधा मिली है। उनके घर तक पाइप से साफ पानी पहुंचने लगा है। उनके घर में बिजली कनेक्शन पहुंचा है। उनके लिए करोड़ों टॉयलेट्स बने हैं। ऐसे करोड़ों लोग अब क्वालिटी लाइफ चाहते हैं। साथियों, अब भारत के लोगों को सिर्फ रोड नहीं, उन्हें शानदार एक्सप्रेस वे चाहिए। अब भारत के लोगों को सिर्फ रेल कनेक्टिविटी नहीं, उन्हें हाई स्पीड ट्रेन चाहिए। भारत के हर शहर की अपेक्षा है उसके यहां मेट्रो चले। भारत के हर शहर की अपेक्षा है उसका अपना एयरपोर्ट हो। देश का हर नागरिक, हर गांव शहर चाहता है कि उसके यहां दुनिया की बेस्ट सुविधाएं हो, और इसका नतीजा हम देख रहे हैं। 2014 में भारत के सिर्फ 5 शहरों में मेट्रो थी। आज 23 शहरों में मेट्रो है। आज दुनिया का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा मेट्रो नेटवर्क भारत में है। एक तरफ दुनिया के कई देशों के बीच संघर्ष है, तनाव है, तो दूसरी तरफ कई देशों में डेमोक्रेसी का जश्न चल रहा है। भारत और अमेरिका डेमोक्रेसी के जश्न में भी एक साथ है। जहां अमेरिका में चुनाव होने वाले हैं और भारत में चुनाव हो चुके हैं, भारत में हुए ये इलेक्शन ह्यूमन हिस्ट्री के अब तक के सबसे सबसे बड़े चुनाव थे। ये सब भारत की डेमोक्रेसी को वाइब्रेंट बनाते हैं। हमने सेमीकंडक्टर सेक्टर को भी भारत की तेज ग्रोथ का आधार बनाया है। पिछले साल जून में भारत ने सेमीकंडक्टर सेक्टर के लिए इंसेंटिव घोषित किए थे। इसके कुछ ही महीनों बाद माइक्रोन की पहली सेमीकंडक्टर यूनिट का शिलान्यास भी हो गया। अब तक भारत में ऐसी 5 यूनिट्स स्वीकृत हो चुकी हैं। वो दिन दूर नहीं जब आप मेड इन इंडिया चिप यहां अमेरिका में भी देखेंगे। आज हर देश भारत को ज्यादा से ज्यादा समझना चाहता है, जानना चाहता है। आपको एक और बात जानकर खुशी होगी, कल ही अमेरिका ने हमारे करीब 300 पुराने जो शिलालेख और मूर्तियां थी जो कभी हिंदुस्तान से कोई चोरी कर गया होगा, कोई 1500 साल पुरानी, कोई 2000 साल पुरानी, 300 शिलालेख और मूर्तियां भारत को लौटाई है। अभी तक अमेरिका ऐसी लगभग 500 धरोहरें भारत को लौटा चुका है। ये कोई छोटी सी चीज लौटाने का विषय नहीं है। मुझे आपको ये बताते हुए खुशी है कि आपके सुझावों के बाद भारत ने बोस्टन और लॉस एंजलिस में 2 नए कॉन्सुलेट खोलने का निर्णय लिया है।
And let me go straight across to my colleague Natasha, joining us from Long Island. Natasha, it's over to you. What's the mood there? A lot of excitement after the Prime Minister's speech. What are some of the key takeaways? Go ahead.
Well, the stadium is now, but the enthusiasm remains. In fact, talking about enthusiasm, joining us here is Vikas Agarwal, who has literally been at each and every Prime Minister Modi event here in the United States, from his addresses to Congress, to his address in Silicon Valley, to Madison Square Garden, which is where it all started in 2014, to now here at the Nassau Colosseum. What did you think of the speech? And I also want to get your visceral reaction when you were standing there and people were chanting Modi, Modi. How are you feeling?
Well, it's always energy, excitement, enthusiasm. Because Modi ji, there's no celebrity like Modi ji who gets you going towards the crowd and makes you feel a sense of pride that you're part of the Indian community, that you grew up in India and are witnessing this event. So he's always the best of any other leader ever I've seen.
Well, he gave a lot of compliments to you all, calling you all the best. You are an entrepreneur based here in America, Indian American. He said that Indian Americans were India's strongest brand ambassadors. But what does that mean at the ground level? What do you think you all have been doing to become those, to get that glowing praise from Prime Minister Modi? I'm curious.
So for us, our responsibility is to work hard. We came all the way from India to be here. So we work hard, we keep our flag going high, and the reputation for India is at stake for everything we do. So we want to make sure India's brand name is at the top.
And India, Prime Minister Modi was also talking about India's economy in terms of growing it went from 10th largest economy to 5th, and now he wants it to become the 3rd largest economy at least. What role does the Indian American diaspora play in that? And talk to us also about the partnerships in technology here as well as American investments in India?
So there is tremendous opportunity for Indian Americans and Indian Americans to go back to India and invest in different projects, whether it's manufacturing, semiconductor manufacturing, AI, software companies, or all the different emerging growth technologies. So as that investment grows, the Indian economy can rise from 5th position to number 3.
And Prime Minister Modi also talked about, he always likes to give at least something to the diaspora specifically. And while he did not talk about green cards, he did not talk about H-1B visas, he did talk about India opening 2 new consulates. And he also said that the US has returned 300 antiquities to India. When you hear things like that, how does that matter to you? And was it something that you wanted to hear that you didn't hear?
Well, you feel a sense of pride and you feel love, right? Means when they open new consulates, they make it easier for us to be connected to India, to travel to India, to do business with India. So the consulates are a big deal for Indians living in America. And when it comes to antiquities, that's our cultural heritage and it belongs to the people of India. So when the Prime Minister comes and makes that request, think about this. These have been taken away from India over several hundred years. And now he's bringing them back to India. And that's a big deal. We are gaining our pride.
And we hear the word pride a lot. I am also curious to talk a little bit more about the specific issues that the Indian American community is dealing with or grappling with. Whether it be racism or whether it be immigration issues. Do you think that after Prime Minister Modi has become the leader in India, has he done anything specifically around these issues for the Indian American?
Absolutely. Anywhere I've lived in the US for over 20 years now. And the brand name of Indians is much higher when you meet people, right? You go and get anything done in America, venture capitalists will give us money. Hey, you are Indian technology person. We trust you, we respect your work, and we will fund you.
And that was growing and happening also before 2014. But in what way do you think Prime Minister Modi pushed that image of the Indian American diaspora also as being leaders in technology, in entrepreneurship, in so many other things?
Well, it just went up dramatically higher in terms of where things were. So Indians have always worked hard. You have some of the best.
Have there been specific initiatives? I think he's talked a lot about Digital India. Have there been specific Indo-US strategic?
All right, so Natasha, as you continue that conversation, well, of course, a lot of excitement and anticipation there in the US. Of course, this was a key highlight of the Prime Minister's visit, the community event. There is a lot on agenda still. He is expected to make that crucial address at the UN building as well. And of course, the CEO's meeting. So all of that and more. And we'll bring you all the latest from the ground. Our colleague Vishnu Shom continues to get us all the action.
NDTV in America. 360 coverage of Prime Minister's visit.
आपका यह प्यार ये मेरा बहुत बड़ा सौभाग्य है.
NDTV, first, fast, factual.
Welcome back. The latest on the political standoff in Andhra Pradesh. Well, as far as the Tirupati Prasadam Rao is concerned, now the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh has formed a special investigation team to probe the irregularities on the part of the Temple Trust. This as the Andhra government continues to mount an offensive on the erstwhile YSRCP government. Take a look.
Andhra Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan began an 11-day Prayashchit Diksha. He'll be on fast till October 1 and go to Tirumala to seek forgiveness of Lord Venkateshwara for what he called malafide attempt to infuse impurity in Tirupati Prasadam. The BJP ally has called for the establishment of a Sanatan Dharm Parirakshan Parishad after reports that animal fat was found in cow ghee used to make Tirupati Laddu.
ఏ ధర్మం మీదైనా సరే ఇలాంటి అపవిత్రం ఒక చర్చి మీద జరిగిన ఒక మస్జిద్ మీద జరిగిన దేశం అల్లకల్లోలం చేసేస్తారు, ప్రపంచమంతా మాట్లాడతారు, గ్లోబల్ న్యూస్ అయిపోద్ది. కానీ దేశంలో కోట్లాది మంది హిందువులు అపవిత్రమైతే ఈ ప్రసాదం అపవిత్రమైతే ఒక్కరు కూడా మాట్లాడకూడదు. ఇది సెక్యులర్ వ్యవస్థకు విఘాతం అంటే హిందువులకి మనోభావాలు ఉండవా?
This even as YSRCP leader Jagan Mohan Reddy wrote to Prime Minister Narendra Modi alleging that Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu was attempting to irreparably tarnish the sanctity, integrity and reputation of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Mr. Jagan said Mr. Naidu knew that the ghee of questionable quality said to be adulterated with animal fat was not used, and yet he had recklessly said animal fat was used to make Tirupati Laddu. That the same process of e-tendering every 6 months was followed during both the TDP and YSRCP rule. That every tanker comes NABL certified, and after that TTD does 3 mandatory tests before the ghee is put to use. Ghee tanker has been rejected during TDP rule 14 to 15 times and 18 times during YSRCP rule. Jagan Mohan Reddy says the NDDB calf lab report came on July 23 and is not conclusive for presence of animal fat. Yet, Naidu had chosen to speak about it almost 2 months later, besmirching the sanctity and prestige of TTD and Hindu sentiments for political ends, Reddy said. Lakhs of devotees of Lord Venkateshwara Swami want to know if at any time the Tirupati Laddu has been desecrated with cow ghee that was adulterated with animal fat. Because Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu had in the meeting on September 18 said that animal fat instead of cow ghee had been used to make Tirupati Laddu during the time of Jagan Mohan Reddy, whereas the executive officer of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam has said the 4 ghee tankers that were suspected to have adulterated cow ghee had been set aside, and it is samples from there that had shown the presence of animal fat. With inputs from Tirupati, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
I'm ordering an inquiry, IGP level or more than that. Then the team will establish the facts. Finally, all temples, all prayer places, respect to religious people only will work, so that there won't be any violations. That also we are going to bring. Even management committees, only those who are having belief, they will be nominated. We'll take all precautions. Finally, we will prepare standard operation procedures for all temples. Accordingly, we will work it out.
In other news now, well, a major cabinet reshuffle is on the cards as per sources in Punjab. Now, what sources seem to indicate is that 5 new faces are likely to be inducted into the Punjab cabinet. Currently, of course, it's functioning at a strength of 15. Remember, this also comes right amid the Haryana polls, and the Punjab government has been facing a lot of flack on issues like law and order. Remains to be seen who these new 5 faces are. Now, the big international headline, well, in its first presidential polls after the economic collapse, Sri Lanka has seen red, with left-leaning leader Dissanayake now the new president of Sri Lanka, and of course a big upset for Ranil Wickremesinghe as well. What does it mean for India? Here's a report.
The presidential elections in Sri Lanka have been like none other in the past, with Anura Kumara Dissanayake becoming the first left-leaning president of the country. This happened as no candidate was able to secure the 50.1% mark needed to win these elections. The fractured mandate is reflective of the deep divisions in Sri Lankan society, one where some have credited the current president for steering the economy back from the brink in 2022, to those who hold him responsible for the high cost of living and are a votary of revisiting the loan terms with IMF. These elections were also the first time when a record number of candidates contested, one where pollsters were completely out of sync with voter sentiment, and one where the economy dominated and ethnic issues like those related to Tamil minorities did not. And as the people of Sri Lanka have spoken, they've sent a clear message to their next president. They want fixes for the economy, but on their own terms. Gauri Dwivedi for NDTV World.
And finally, mega star Chiranjeevi has been recognized as the most prolific Indian actor. So a new Guinness Book of World Record for megastar Chiranjeevi. He of course has danced in thousands of songs and has been part of hundreds of films, 537 songs to be precise, and 24,000 dance moves. So very interesting there. 537 songs and thousands of dance steps.
Actor and dancer, megastar Chiranjeevi Konidela. 22nd of September 2024. History is made.
And with that, it's a wrap from me. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.